Good afternoon, people. Welcome to Health Hazards, a special broadcast from your kind folks at Galactic Daily News, which would be me, Cameron Durgay. Um, Recently, I was asked by one of our supporters about my past because there's not much that she knows about it. And it's not because it's a secret or anything. I just generally don't talk about my past at all because it is in the past, unless somehow it's relevant to the conversation. Um, One of the things that she asked about was, you know, what exactly they've done to me since my kidneys failed. So we're going to go ahead and show you some things and explain some things and perhaps give you a little history of my health thus far. So here we go. It was back in July of 2016 when I was first diagnosed with kidney failure. They put off doing anything because the poisons in my system weren't that bad at that time. By December, they had reached the point where I could taste the poisons in my mouth, and quite frankly, it tasted like pee all the time. So so they put me on peritoneal dialysis, and what peritoneal dialysis um, is they hook you up to a machine that they put a tube in your stomach in the peritoneal cavity, which is the sac basically that holds all your organs on the inside. They put a tube in there, a catheter, and then through that catheter they pump something called Delflex into your tummy. The Delflex absorbs all the poisons, and then they pump it out again. And this can happen from 4 to 12 hours a night, as I found out. This went on until February of this year. So for more than 2 years, I was on the PD at home. It got to the point where the peritoneal dialysis wasn't doing what it's supposed to do. I was on there for 12 hours a night, every night, which is a pain in the ass because that means I'm hooked up to basically a 12-foot length of tubing. In February of this year, suddenly I was unable to breathe. I couldn't get more than a very shallow breath. So I went to the hospital, Moses Cone in Greensboro, and told them, and they're like, oh, well, we need to do something about that. Their tests revealed that my potassium was incredibly high, which is what was causing me to be unable to breathe. So they put me on a couple of potassium-reducing drugs, which, I'll be honest with you, are not fun. Did some tests on me, and they also saw the big lump on my leg as they were admitting me to the ER. So one of the admitting doctors was like, okay, well, what's that thing? Oh, no. How long's it been there? About a year or so. It kept getting bigger, now it stopped getting bigger, and it just oozes pus. So while I was in there and they were doing stuff for my potassium, they removed the lump from my leg. And it turned out that it was a squamous cell carcinoma. So basically a runaway form of skin cancer. And they removed it. They put a skin graft. They took some skin from my upper thigh and grafted that in there. And then I was on the wound sucker. That's the wound sucker right there. Basically, it gives a gentle suction to bring the wound, to help close the wound. So I had that on for about a week after I got out of the hospital. There's the scar from where they took the bump out. There's me. This is the where they put a catheter in me for hemodialysis. So basically, they took me off the peritoneal dialysis and put me on hemodialysis. And now I go every 3 days a week, to a clinic just down the street here, actually, where they wash my blood, basically. There's the machine that does that. They suck blood out of me, put blood back into me. And then I ended up back in the hospital in May. Was it May? Yeah, I think it was May. Because I had painful bloody diarrhea, which is a little embarrassing to talk about, but it was actually a thing. They did a what did they do? Endoscopy and a colonoscopy. Found out that I have a lump in my stomach, which was ulcerating and bleeding. That's what was causing blood, and that I have a number of polyps in all areas of my intestine. So they snipped a few of the polyps, and I'm scheduled to go in on July 9th for them to do more damage to my GI tract. They're going to take out the big bump and snip a few more of the bigger polyps. None of them are cancerous, thank goodness, but they are pre-cancerous, so they really want to get rid of them. Now, this is where they put in a fistula. A fistula, in this case, is where they take a vein and an artery and they sew them together, which is supposed to be helpful when I go from using the catheter to basically they'll stick needles in my arm where the fistula is to swap out my blood. So that's fun. It's healed pretty well, but I can feel my blood in there thrumming like a 351 Cleveland engine. It's pretty weird. Now here is where they took out my peritoneal dialysis catheter because I'm not using it anymore, so let's remove it, which is a good thing. Now I don't have to worry about making sure that's clean and flushed out every few days. I would show you a picture of the catheter after they took it out, but it's pretty gross because there's a large amount of my flesh attached to it. So we won't be showing you that. So that's my medical history, pretty much from the time I got diagnosed with kidney failure, originally back in July of 2016. So yeah, I hope I answered any questions you might have about that. If you have more questions, please feel free to either comment on the video on YouTube or Facebook, or you can email me at kerman@mac.com. So that's about it for that. Please, again, please donate to the cause. It's the 28th of June, and I've got till the 5th of July to pay my rent before the landlord tax a $25 late fee, and to the 15th of July to pay it in total. Otherwise, I get an eviction notice. So now we do have one more person donating to the Patreon account. So I want to thank her for that. Every little bit helps. I'm not going to say the names at this point, because I'm a big believer in privacy, and if she wants her name published, she can let me know. So yeah, go to patreon.com/Kerman, where you can donate to the cause on a monthly basis for as little as $5 a month, or as much as you want to do. If you want to do a lump sum donation, you can go to PayPal, and my handle there is Kerman@yahoo.com. So you can do that one-time donation for as much or as little as you want. Hopefully, in the next few weeks, the Social Security disability will be coming through, and I won't have to worry about this so much. It should be enough to cover all my bills, and I will also be looking into getting food stamps to cover my food until or maybe even after the disability shows up. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the program. If you have any more questions for me at all, please let me know. Like I said, you can comment under the videos on Facebook or YouTube, or you can email me at kerman@mac.com. Y'all have a good day. I'm out.